and we get addicted to the chemicals. So now we're addicted to inhaling carcinogen and tar-laced air.
Yeah. You know, the same with the tobacco companies and some of the, like you were mentioning about the stuff coming from China. I mean, the stuff was probably way worse than smoking, I hate to say it, than smoking a cigar and inhaling it. I mean, the damage it'll do. And just
one of the early on things that we found formaldehyde in vapor. Really? How did you do that?
Yeah.
Well, we took this device and we turned it up to 6 volts and we burn it dry.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I got news for you. Anybody who's vaped, who's ever taken a dry hit, knows it's the worst taste in the
nasty,
world.
And it could blow
and
up
you
on you.
are not going to continue to do that.
No.
And if that's what you have to do to create something bad in the vape, it's so far off the scale. It's so far. Most devices in the early days wouldn't even do it.
Yeah.
Burn it that hot. Okay.
No.
So the only way they can make it on paper where it's bad for you is they have to rig it. They have to run the liquid completely out of it, burn the wicking dry to where the heating element is actually burning the wicking material. Again, anytime you burn something, what happens? You get carcinogens.
That's right.
And it tastes
You
burnt.
sit around a campfire, breathing in that smoke, you're breathing in carcinogens.
Yeah.
Marijuana is way more tar content than cigarettes. The difference, most people don't smoke marijuana like we smoke cigarettes.
Oh, but I'm going to tell you this. There is people out there that actually smoke it way worse than ever of a cigarette. And then you sit there and say, man, you're killing yourself. And they say, hey, it's not going to hurt me. The government says that pot isn't going to, right? But they're smoking. So anything you're putting in your lungs is damaging your lungs. So if you're sitting there smoking a joint every half an hour
a
day,
joint has paper.
And let's face it, smoking marijuana is not the best way to utilize it. Period.
No, it's not.
So I get really frustrated because, like I say, I was in the vape industry. I get really, really, really frustrated with people that were staunch supporters of the vape industry. Don't smoke, vape. It's better for you. You know, it's going to help you live longer, blah, blah, blah. And then 5 minutes later, they're sitting there smoking on a joint.
Oh, yeah. They're just liars. I mean,
what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
they firmly believe that it's okay.
Well, I believe completely in marijuana, and I vape.
I believe in marijuana as well, but I don't believe smoking it is the best way to get it. They got
ingestibles, they got edibles,
you have
they got
edibles,
the whole
you
shebang.
have topicals, they have vapables.
Washington's great.
Well,
they have vapable marijuana.
You know what? You're going to find a lot more people down the next 10 years having lung cancer from smoking pot
Probably, especially
than ever smoking tobacco because, one, they're doing it 10 times more. I'm talking about the potheads. I'm sorry if I got people mad at me right now, but if you're sitting there smoking every half an hour a joint.
You know what?
What's in it, though?
There's the same thing with smokers. There are people out there that chain smoke that smoke 2.5, 3 packs of cigarettes a day. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but have you ever been around people when they're smoking a joint and listen to them hack their lungs out for about a half an hour afterwards?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
I'm not going to lie. When I was a kid, I smoked pot.
Yeah.
And when I was in junior high and high school, I smoked pot.
Hey, question.
Sue me.
Have you, did you ever learn a lot while smoking pot? Because I swear, my mind has opened up completely.
Or you think it has?
Well, I tell you not. I have been able to like expand my mind a lot more.
Well,
to this.
Here's the
being
thing,
open
though,
to marijuana.
Okay? The marijuana that we got when I was a kid and that you buy on the streets today is not the same marijuana you're buying down at the dispensatory that's regulated. And I know some of these people that are in the business of growing marijuana, and they take it very seriously. And there's no bullshit when it comes to what they're growing. Okay,
well,
stuff.
Well, that's scary.
No. I'm gonna butt in. Now, let me say something, Kevin.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go back in Vietnam days. Okay, I'm gonna say that I knew somebody who used to, after every time we came back from assignment, right? Back in them days, a lot of the they were having problems at one point with M16s jamming with ammo and all that stuff. So a lot of their parents and family would send weapons and you could get weapons. And I know this one guy had a shotgun with a very short a barrel, a double
sawed off.
Yes, yeah. And what he would do is we come back in, right? The first thing he would do was empty the shotgun, and fill it up with pot, and then used it as a thing to smoke it with.
Vietnam is very known.
I tell you what, this guy was such a pothead, right? One day he forgot to empty both chambers, right? And there was one live shell in it, right? As he was toking up, it went off. Okay.
What'd you tell your commander, though?
We were all there, and I tell you, when you're toking up on a barrel of a shotgun and it goes off,
it makes a mess.
There's no head left, nothing, and and that instilled into me such a horrible scene that I'll be honest with you, I have bone cancer, and occasionally I have tried it. But for myself, I didn't like it. I like edibles. But
and that's what I was just going to say. The stuff that's on the streets is way different, not only in content but in effect, than what you buy for a specific.
Well, you don't know what you're buying on the streets.
Because when you walk into a dispensary and you tell them what you're doing, do you want to feel good? Do you have a medical condition? Are you fighting anxiety? What is it you're here for? Why are you here? Why are you looking towards marijuana? And they try and help you find the right strain to address what you're there for, whether it's just to have the high feeling or it's to treat something, okay? And then they've got the topicals. And see, as a truck driver, I cannot partake, okay, in edibles or smoking or any of that. But I have used topicals, ointments, like on my neck, on my head. I'll tell you what, if you get a headache and you have you have the right topical ointment and you rub it on your temples, it's amazing what it'll do for a headache.
Yeah.
It's amazing what it'll do for a sore back, a sore neck. Come on.
Yeah, I think
hemp has been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Put on earth by God.
I think some of that stuff, like over in Vietnam, it was around there, was so much more stronger than what you could get around here.
And here's the thing too. We don't know what was being put in it.
Oh no.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody. I have yet to see a case of somebody dying from a marijuana overdose.
No.
However, there have been people that have died or been seriously damaged from crap that's been put into the marijuana that they smoked.
Well, have you seen Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, right?
I didn't catch that.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh, well, basically in the beginning, the two potheads are sitting on the couch, they're watching a movie, and they're basically watching a commercial. And the commercial pops up, and it shows this pothead. He's getting stoned. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to pull out my dad's shotgun." And his friend's like, "No, don't do that." And it says, "Marijuana kills."
Well, you know what? I hate to say it. I mean, a lot of people say a lot of people don't go any farther than smoking marijuana, but I have actually seen family members start off with marijuana and then end up into meth and everything else, which is really scary.
Some people are much more prone to addiction than others. I've said this for years, and I know people that are alcoholics that are in remission. I know people that have been hooked on heroin, but addiction is different with everybody.
Oh yeah.
I know people that can smoke a pack of cigarettes a day for a year, put them down and walk away from them, and not so much as have a shiver.
Well, you know what? It's really fun.
I married one of those people.
Well, guess what? When I used to smoke a pack or more a day before I met my current wife, and when we got married, because she had asthma, and said that, hey, I can't be around you if you smoke. If you want to get married to me, that's the first thing you have to do. I gave up smoking for 40 years. Now, occasionally I'll go buy some cigars, right? I don't smoke them in the house. Well, I have snuck behind my wife's back when she wasn't in the house. But she always knows when she comes home 2-3 hours later. She goes, "You smoked a cigar?"
You bastard.
Yeah, but you know what? I gave it up. And, it was just like, it was no problem. Just like I know my grandfather was a severe alcoholic. He came from World War II. For a good 10 years after that, he was like drunk at the bar every single night.
What he did.
What happened is this is on Whidbey Island. In Langley, they had their annual fair, right? And his best friend was the chief of the police. His best buddy, right? They were having a parade. He's so drunk, he gets in his car, right? And wipes out a couple of the, floats, right? There was hundreds and hundreds of his friends and people on, from Whidbey Island were all there for the fair, and the parade. It embarrassed him so much. He never touched a drop of alcohol after that. So sometimes it can be your mind can sit there and say, this is it, and just totally go cold turkey. But we're changed the whole subject tonight, Kevin.
Absolutely.
It was because of you. We were talking about giants and see how this has gone every which way. But giants.
You know what?
Huh.
That's the magic of this show.
Yeah, we can.
It can go just about anywhere we want it to go.
Yeah, I won't talk about my sex life. I promise.
Okay, that's good.
I don't have
good.
one.
Very good.
But the giant thing and getting back to like aliens and stuff like that again.
Oh, there's a connection there.
Yeah, because even there's been reported cases where like the so-called aliens that came down were way taller than man. And we go back to the caves even, okay? We go back to the Greek times, to Cleopatra times, right? In their writings, they talk about
the hieroglyphics show large people and flying objects.
Yeah,
Flying
way
saucers
taller than man. Way taller than man.
See,
that episode I was talking about, I'm not positive it was in Russia. It could have been the Ukraine. I can't remember. I've looked at so much information the last few days. It's tough, but that's what this was. This was a UFO thing, okay? And then these giant man-like creatures came out of the UFO. And when the police first showed up to the first witness, they basically called him a liar and told him he was drunk.
Well,
yeah.
And then they saw the footprints and the tracks.
Yeah. Well, and
all these other people started coming out and telling them the exact same story.
Okay, yeah, but again, it gets back to mankind, right? If there were giants around, which my feeling there was, right? They don't want them to be around. They don't. Even the people today, they don't want to admit that there were giants walking around because the whole evolution, right? Yeah, whatever, right? It changes it. Okay, where it puts a factor in there that says, "Hey, the Bible is right in this way, and this way was wrong." And I don't know, but here's something that Neil Tyson brought up, and I thought it was great. It was fantastic. Okay, he said, he went through a list of scientists, and we're talking from mathematicians up to string theory. Some of the top scientists in the world, and what percentage of those scientists believe in a higher God. And when you get to the group that him and a few of the others that we know belong in, this very elite group of scientists that study matter, antimatter, string theory, things like this, big-time scientists, very, very, very smart people, approximately 7% of that group believes in a higher God, prays and believes in a higher God. Uh-huh.
So when they say, well, you believe in God, that's, or this is bunk, or that is bunk, or you shouldn't believe in it. What are you doing praying to a God? Stop right there. Until you can answer to that 7% of these scientists, you have nothing nothing negative to say to somebody that believes in a God.
I
period.
have an answer for some of those scientists.
What is that, Kevin?
Well,